Well, hello, God's good people. How are y'all doing today? Pray all is well. If you're looking and seeing that I have the same set, atmosphere, clothing, whatever, then I just did a series of videos as the Lord led and was able to lay them out, which is great when that happens. And sometimes people ask, where's my son? He's sleeping when I do some of these videos, or in another room, or not very far away, but he's very mannerable. And so, and at times I have to stop and pause and re-record again. So when I can get it all in as the Lord leads, it's wonderful. So that's what you're seeing today. So today I want to talk to you about obeying God, because it's life or death. If you don't have a peace about a situation, don't continue to move forward in it. Many, many years ago, I was blessed to purchase a vehicle. It was an Audi, and I was blessed to purchase it cash. And the Lord stirred me to put a personal license plate on it, Obey Him, which I still have that plate, Obey Him. And it became a testimony because, oh, wow, you got a new car. And then, oh, yeah, God blessed me with it, was able to get it cash. And here's how. Obey Him. What does that mean? You know, some people, if they're thinking carnal, are thinking, are you sent to obey you? Are you a judge? Are you an attorney? So it brought up conversation. But it was for God's people to obey Him and to pursue peace. So many years ago, the Lord had me to stop at a relative's home. And I was just discussing this with another family member. And so the other day. And so I stopped at the relative's home, and the Lord told me to tell that relative to just share about obeying God. Well, what I did not know is that months later, that relative would pass. And I shared with them as the Lord gave it. And I sat with them and visited, but I shared as the Lord gave it and said, it's life or death is what it is. Obeying Him is so important. If you don't have a peace about something, stop. Don't move forward. And so sometime after that person passed, then, even if I back up, and the Lord let me know it was the last time I went on an event with that person, and the Lord let me know it was the last time I would see them like that. And I didn't understand it then. But shortly thereafter, the next time I saw them, it was in a medical situation, completely different. And I saw death when I saw them. And it wasn't like I can, pray or, say something different. It wasn't that, because normally I'll ask, Lord, is this sickness unto death? Is this situation, what do you want to do? And sometimes we may just jump to wanting to pray and speaking the word, and then we're disappointed when change doesn't happen. But the key thing to do is to ask God. And this is like a side note. The key thing to do is to ask the Lord, what are you saying in this situation? Because I don't know the behind the scenes, which I didn't know then. But it wasn't as though it was something for me to pray to change, because I've seen the dead raised. I've, witnessed that. I've participated in praying for the dead to be raised. I've seen dead situations come to life, as many of you have. So in that situation, it was, I just saw death. And it wasn't like pray up to rebuke death. This is what it is. Okay, Lord, death. All right, then now I need to pray for family, because I see what situation is at hand. And now I need to pray for comfort. I need to pray for wisdom, for getting things ready and all this kind of stuff. The person was still alive, and, people were expecting the person to recover, but that's not what I saw. And so what I learned after that person passed, shortly after that, was that they didn't have a peace about even going forward with the medical procedure. They didn't have a peace about it. And that's what I learned after their passing. And so we don't always see the behind the scenes. We may see a loved one pass and wonder, wow, why? But if God is prompting them to do something, or not giving them a peace about something, and they're not obeying that prompting, then that door is now open to whatever that consequence was that God was trying to prevent, be it death, an accident, a situation, whatever. It's so important still today that we obey God. And that's what he's wanting us to do, is obey him. If you don't have a peace about something, don't do it. If God is prompting you to do something different, do it. So I just pray today that you have the strength to obey God. That when you get a stirring in your spirit, when we get a stirring in our spirit to do something, that stirring is so strong that the only clear thing we can think to do is to obey God. I just rebuke the enemy's plan and thought to try and bring his thoughts and to bring fear into our lives, and for us to try and speak that fear into existence. I rebuke that. And I just pray that we obey God. Here's the thing. Sometimes we may have a reservation, but it's out of fear, which is different from not having a peace about a situation. Example, you may be fearful of jumping out of a plane because you don't like the height. We may be fearful of a particular animal because of what it could do, or of a particular bug because of what it could do. That's fear, right? And I know some people say, well, there are healthy fears and all that. No, fear is fear. There's not a healthy fear unless you're talking about a respectful fear of God. That's a different type of fear. It's not even fear. But when we talk about fear, we're talking about fear, being afraid. The scripture says God has not given us a spirit of fear, not even of a healthy fear. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, his power, and of love, his love, and of a sound mind, the mind of Christ, right? That's what God has given us. And then it's on us to take the step in faith on what he's prompting us to do. So if there's a reservation about doing something, that's not a fear, that's pursuing peace. It's, hey, I don't have a peace about taking this step. Example, when we were purchasing this property that we have now, and we were going through lenders. Now, they all approved us. You can go back and listen to our story, but they all approved us. Yep, we'll give you the loan. But when we got out of underwriting, they wanted to restructure and do something different because of greed. Oh, they see you got a little bit. We can, it's like they were counting our dollars. Let's do something more. We went all the way from needing $75,000 with one lender to closing and needing less than $1,500 to close when it was all said and done, right? But it was because we went through all that because I didn't have a peace. Derek and I did not have a peace about moving forward with the amount of money that they said they wanted. They approved us, but bring this amount of money to closing, $75,000. Bring $30,000. Okay, bring $21,000. Bring $17,000. Bring $12,000. Bring $92.57. And we kept, trying. Okay, well, $92.57 is better than the $75,000. That seems so great. But at the same time, my prayer was, God, you be the lender in our situation. Don't allow people to take advantage of us, Lord. And that's what he was doing. He was protecting us. And so I didn't have a peace about situations. And I would talk to Derek and he didn't have a peace about what they were trying to do either. And so we kept going until we got to that place of peace. We could have gone in our flesh. Well, we'll just go anyway. We know we want this house. We don't want to get the contract canceled. We don't want to lose the house. But we continue to keep God at the forefront, continue to pursue peace. And once we got peace that surpasses all understanding, that only came from God, the lender that God sent, we had peace. We stepped out on that, and there wasn't greed involved. There was no issue involved. And we got our house. But there was work to be done. We had to continue obeying God and pursuing peace. And God would say no. To us, he would tell us, tell them this. Say no. Say no. Say no. And then God turned their no's into yeses. But he had us saying no to what they wanted. And then what we said we wanted when they were saying no, God turned their no's into a yes. So he made them agree with his plan for our lives because we were pursuing his will. Peace. And let peace be your guide. Years later, I remember a situation that I was in, and I was in a valley of decision. And I didn't have a peace about a particular decision. And this is years after the Lord told me, pursue peace, tell his people it's life or death, obey him, And now, fast forward some 20-something years later, I'm at New Light Church. Apostle Hilliard, at that time, Bishop Hilliard, is the leader, okay? And he's teaching on a series. And something that he says during this series is, if you don't know what to do, pursue peace. Let peace be your guide. And it ricocheted. It came right back to me what the Lord had taught me years ago that I was sharing with other people to do. And here I was in a valley of decision, needing to also reapply what I knew, which is pursue peace. Even Jesus told his disciples when he sent them out 2 by 2, don't take anything with you. Don't take any water, no bread. Don't take a purse, your coin bag, in other words, with you. Don't take anything. Don't change it, not a change of clothes, just go. And if peace remains, then that's where you stay. But if your peace returns to you, what did he say? Shake the dust from your feet and keep going. In other words, don't take what happened. Don't take the offense or whatever, the rejection. Don't carry it with you to the next place. Shake that dust from your feet and keep going to the next place. Okay. So pursue peace. So he even told them, settle where peace is. So I say to you today is obey God. It's life or death. Pursue peace. Okay. And y'all be blessed and be encouraged to know that God loves you. Be blessed.